I've told this story so many times now that the words feel worn in my mouth, like river stones smoothed down over years. And yet, each time I tell it, I remember the exact sound of Bella's bark that morning, sharp, desperate, almost human in its urgency. That sound still turns my blood cold. Bella is our Labrador retriever, 5 years old, black coat with just the tiniest streak of white down her chest, like she forgot to button her fur all the way up. We got her when she was only a few weeks old, a squirming, velvet-eared puppy with more clumsy love than coordination. From the beginning, she attached herself to our son, Liam, as if she'd been born knowing her job was to protect him. And Liam, well, he doted on her like she was his furry shadow. We live on the edge of town, in a house my husband and I bought before Liam was born. It backs onto a field that rolls down toward a cluster of trees, and just beyond the trees is a pond. The pond isn't huge, maybe 20 feet across, but deep enough in the center to be dangerous, especially for a 4-year-old. And because the property is fenced and the pond is out of direct sight, I'd always considered it something we could manage, especially with how watchful we were of Liam. Or so we thought. It was a chilly morning in early spring. The snow had long melted, and everything outside was still damp and half awake from winter. Liam had been up early, bouncing around like only a little boy with cabin fever can. My husband, Aaron, was out front dealing with a broken fence post, and I was inside folding laundry. Bella was pacing, restless, her nails clicking on the hardwood floor as she hovered near the back door. Now, let me say this, Bella is a good dog. Obedient, gentle, not a barker. If someone knocked on the door, she might let out a single huff, but she never barked just for the sake of it. That's why what happened next hit me like a bolt of electricity. It started with a low growl. I barely registered it, thinking maybe she'd seen a squirrel or something outside. But then she gave a sharp bark, and another. And another. I turned, laundry forgotten, just in time to see her throw herself at the door, pawing at the handle, barking now like her throat might give out. It wasn't random. It was directed. There was purpose in it, panic even. I moved toward the door instinctively. I remember saying, "What is it, girl? What's wrong?" as if she could answer in words. But she didn't wait for me to open it. She turned and dashed toward the front hallway, barking even louder now, running back and forth between me and the front entrance. I didn't know what was happening, but every hair on my neck stood up. Aaron burst through the front door at that moment, face pale. "Where's Liam?" he shouted. He was playing in the living room, I started, but my heart dropped into my stomach before I even finished the sentence. He wasn't in the living room. I ran down the hallway calling his name. No answer. The house was silent except for Bella's frantic barking. That silence was like a vacuum. The kind that swallows you whole. I bolted through the back door, barefoot, the ground cold and wet under my feet. And Bella was already gone, a black streak heading toward the trees. That was when I knew something was really, truly wrong. She didn't just sense something, she saw it. She was leading us. Not chasing, not wandering. Leading. Aaron caught up to me just as I rounded the tree line. I don't remember grabbing my coat, but I had it wrapped around me like armor. The pond came into view, dark and still. Too still. Then I saw him, Liam's little body, sprawled at the edge of the pond, half in, half out, arms outstretched toward the bank like he'd tried to claw his way up. His boots were off, one floating in the water, the other a few feet away. His clothes were soaked through, clinging to his body like second skin. His lips were blue. We ran. I think Aaron got to him first. Everything after that was noise, my own screaming, the rush of water, the sound of my knees hitting the muddy ground. Liam was breathing, barely. His eyes fluttered open when we pulled him out, and he coughed, a ragged, gurgling sound that was both terrifying and life-affirming at once. Bella stood just feet away, barking, whining, tail low, circling. I remember dropping to the ground and hugging her, mud and all. I cried into her fur. She licked my face, still pacing, like she wasn't ready to calm down until Liam was safe in our arms again. Later, after the ambulance came and Liam was cleared by the paramedics, mild hypothermia, no lasting harm, by some miracle, one of them asked how we knew he was out there. I pointed at Bella, who sat on the porch wrapped in a blanket one of the neighbors had brought over. She knew, I said. She told us. The man knelt to pet her and said, "Good girl." I don't think any words have ever felt more deserved. The hours after we pulled Liam from the pond were a blur. He was trembling so hard in my arms that I could feel it in my bones. Aaron wrapped his jacket around him as we waited for the paramedics. I held Liam so close I don't think I even noticed the cold seeping into my clothes, the mud crusting on my knees, or the blood from where I must have scraped my hands rushing through the brush. All I saw was my boy. And Bella, hovering close like a sentinel. That night, after the hospital released Liam with a clean bill of health, remarkably lucky, they said, more than once, we came home to find Bella waiting at the door, tail thumping softly against the floor, her eyes fixed on Liam. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't gone upstairs. Our neighbor had come by to check on her, and Bella had refused to leave the doorway. She followed Liam everywhere after that. I mean everywhere. To the bathroom, to bed, even when he went to get a cup of water from the kitchen. If he so much as stood up, Bella was up. It wasn't like before. Before, she was his shadow in a playful way. Now she was something else. Watchful, alert, like she knew how close she'd come to losing him, and she'd be damned if it happened again. And it wasn't just her presence. It was her eyes. I've never been someone who believed in animals having something deeper, like a sixth sense or something mystical. But those first few days after the pond, Bella seemed changed. Her eyes weren't wild with panic anymore, but they were intense. Focused, like she understood something had gone wrong, something had almost happened. And she wasn't going to forget it. At night, she would lie at the foot of Liam's bed with her head up, not asleep, just watching. If Liam stirred, Bella would lift her ears. If he made a noise, she would nuzzle his hand. I woke up one night to find her standing in the hallway outside his room, staring at the door like a soldier on duty. She hadn't even barked. She was just there. Present. Aaron tried to reassure me. "She's just shaken up, like the rest of us," he said. "She'll settle down." But I wasn't so sure. The questions started the next day. From family. From friends. From ourselves. How did Liam get outside without us noticing? How long was he out there? Why did he go toward the pond? And the hardest one, what would have happened if Bella hadn't noticed? We didn't have a lot of answers. Liam, bless his heart, couldn't explain much. He was only 4, and his memory of the event was foggy. "I wanted to see the frogs," he told me once, clutching his blanket with small, cold fingers. "I just wanted to see if the frogs came back." That nearly broke me. We'd been out there just a few days before, exploring the woods, flipping over logs and looking for signs of spring. He must have remembered. He must have waited until no one was looking. The back latch had always been stiff, but not impossible to manage if he really tried. Still, the fact that Bella noticed before either of us did haunted me. I started piecing together that morning. I remember Bella sitting at the back window for a long time before she started barking. She must have seen Liam wander into the field. Maybe she thought one of us would stop him. When we didn't, she panicked. Aaron checked the backyard security camera. We don't use it much, it's old, grainy, but it caught part of the footage. You could see Liam moving past the swing set and heading into the tall grass. 2 minutes later, Bella starts pacing behind the door. Then barking. Then full-blown panic. 2 minutes. That's how close we were to disaster. If Bella hadn't noticed when she did. It doesn't bear thinking about. The media heard about it by the end of the week. I don't know how. Maybe a nurse at the hospital shared it, maybe a neighbor. One morning I had 2 voicemails from a local reporter. Then another from a regional news outlet. "Family dog saves child from pond." That was the headline. I didn't want to talk to them at first. It felt invasive, like they were taking something sacred and turning it into a news bite. But Aaron said maybe it would help. Maybe people needed to hear about what could happen. About how fast it could happen. So I agreed to one interview. They came with a camera crew and a clipboard of questions. They filmed Liam playing with Bella in the backyard. They asked how she'd alerted us. They asked about her relationship with Liam. I tried to keep my answers steady, factual. But at one point they asked me, "What do you think made her bark that way? Why did she act so urgently?" I looked at Bella, lying on the grass with Liam curled against her, and I said, "Because she loves him." And she knew he was in trouble. The story aired that night. My phone lit up with messages. People I hadn't talked to in years reaching out to say how lucky we were, how amazing Bella was. And she was. She is. But what none of those people saw, what the camera didn't catch, was how shaken I still felt. Because even now, days later, I would wake in the middle of the night, heart pounding, convinced I'd heard splashing water. And each time, Bella would be there, looking up at me with calm, knowing eyes. She didn't sleep soundly for weeks. Neither did I. But there was one moment, one that stuck with me, that truly captured what Bella had become in the days after. It was 2 weeks later. Liam had a checkup with his pediatrician, and I was in the bedroom getting him ready. He didn't want to wear the sweater I picked out. We were arguing, gently, back and forth. Suddenly Bella stood up, walked over, and nudged the sweater with her nose toward Liam's chest. Then she sat. Just sat. Quiet, still. Liam looked at her, then at me, and without a word, pulled the sweater on. I stared at her for a long time. There was something in her behavior that day, calm authority, like she knew this child had almost been lost, and she'd taken it upon herself to protect him from anything. Even a cold. Aaron laughed when I told him later. She's not just a dog anymore. She's the nanny. But it was more than that. Bella wasn't just being protective. She was being deliberate, like she understood what she'd done, and what could have happened if she hadn't. And that's when I started to realize, this wasn't over. This wasn't just a story about a dog saving a child once. This was something bigger, something deeper, because what Bella did next, in the days and weeks that followed, would prove she wasn't just reacting. She was watching. She was warning us in ways we didn't fully understand yet. And if you're still listening, I'll tell you what happened next. Because part 3 is where everything we thought we knew, about dogs, about instinct, about what it means to protect someone, got turned on its head. The days after Liam's near drowning were filled with quiet unease. We tried to settle back into normal life, but Bella's behavior reminded us constantly that things were still fragile. We watched her every move, aware now that her vigilance was more than simple loyalty. It was something instinctive, something almost like a warning system. But none of us was prepared for what came next. It happened about a week after the pond incident. I was in the kitchen preparing lunch, and Aaron was working in the garage. Liam was playing quietly in the living room. Bella was lying on her favorite rug by the fireplace, eyes half closed. Suddenly, she jerked upright, ears perked, and gave a low, guttural growl that I'd never heard from her before. It wasn't a bark or a whine, it was pure warning. I froze. Bella got up and moved to the hallway, standing rigid, tail straight out. She didn't bark, but she wouldn't stop staring at the front door. I called Aaron, who came inside immediately. We stood there together, unsure. Aaron joked, maybe she smells the mailman, but I knew it was different. It was the same intensity Bella had shown the day Liam wandered to the pond. That afternoon, a gas technician came to check a small leak in the furnace in the basement. We had no idea if Bella sensed the faint odor of gas or something else, but we weren't taking chances. After the technician left, we had the system professionally inspected. Sure enough, there was a minor gas leak that had gone unnoticed, one that could have become dangerous in just a few days. I often wonder if Bella's growl was the only reason we called that technician when we did. If we had ignored it, it could have been disastrous. After that, Bella's warnings continued, subtle but unmistakable. One afternoon, she suddenly started barking at the window overlooking the backyard. Aaron looked out and saw a neighbor's dog loose on our lawn. Bella wasn't aggressive, just insistent, warning us about the intruder in our yard. We called the neighbor, who apologized and quickly took control of their dog. Another time, Bella refused to go into the basement for days, sitting at the stairs and staring down, growling lowly whenever we tried to coax her. That's when we found a faulty electrical wire sparking in the corner. We fixed it immediately. It was clear to us that Bella wasn't just a family pet anymore. She was our protector, our early warning system, and every time she alerted us, it was to prevent another potential disaster. Watching her, I realized how deeply she understood the stakes. She had been through something traumatic with Liam, something life-threatening, and since then, she had made it her mission to watch over him. Her instincts weren't just animal instincts anymore, they were sharpened by experience and love. Liam, too, seemed to sense the bond more than ever. He started talking to Bella like a little guardian angel, telling her his secrets, asking her to stay close when he was scared or upset. Their connection was something I can only describe as profound, as if Bella was silently promising Liam that she would always be there, no matter what. Today, months later, Bella's watchfulness hasn't faded. She still follows Liam like a shadow, still barks when something feels off. But there's something calm about her now, too, a quiet confidence born from knowing she saved Liam once and continues to keep him safe every day. When people ask me if I believe Bella really saved Liam, I don't hesitate to say yes. Not just because she barked loud enough to make us run outside that morning, but because of everything that came after. Because she stayed vigilant, warned us again and again, and never let her guard down. Bella saved our son's life that day by barking at the pond. But she saved our family in countless other ways, in ways you don't see on the news. She saved us by reminding us how precious life is, how quickly it can change, and how love, fierce, instinctive, and true, can be the difference between tragedy and hope. And that, to me, is the most remarkable part of this story. Because it's not just about a dog saving a child. It's about the quiet heroism that lives in everyday moments, in the loyal heart of a dog named Bella, who taught us all what it really means to protect those we love. That's the story, the whole story, and every day I thank her for it.